Okay, welcome. It is May 26th and it's Tuesday, and I'm going to give you a heads up for this week. Hope you're doing well. We're coming down the home stretch. We literally have 2 weeks left and then 1 week of finals. We're going to have a non traditional final in terms of it's not going to be multiple choice with some short response, and I'll kind of let you know about that. It's going to be kind of a written response project. So I'll give you more details as we come kind of down the pike. So really quickly, let's zip through this and give you a heads up what we're going to be going over this week in U.S. and world history. So U.S., we've pretty much wrapped civil rights, but civil rights in terms of U.S. history and textbooks and narrative, it usually focuses on the African American point of view. And this week we're going to be looking at women's fight for equal rights. We're also going to look at we're going to be looking at Latinos, Asian American, even people with disabilities. We're going to be looking at gay rights, Stonewall riots. So we're going to look at the whole kind of the whole plethora of people who are marginalized. So that's what you'll be looking at this week in U.S. We're going to look at Cesar Chavez. We'll look at Native American rights, and as I just kind of said, so you're going to basically what you will be focusing on this week is you're going to do the textbook work. You're going to do the readings and the 5 questions. Email me if you have any questions. And the second part is you're going to be looking at the Nixon presidency. And when you look at the Nixon presidency, most people focus on Watergate, which is important. But really, what we want to look at in terms of Nixon is what we call a constitutional crisis. So throughout U.S. history, we've looked at the position of the presidency and executive privilege, executive power. Initially, this country was formed to really limit how much power the office of the presidency has. But as we watch over the years from FDR's New Deal, throughout the presidency has gained more and more power. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I want you to make that decision on your own through the reading. Remember, claim, evidence, reasoning. So you're going to be looking at a couple short videos on Nixon presidency and answering some questions on a graphic organizer. In terms of world history, you will be looking at the Middle East. We looked at it last week, but you're going to look at it a little bit differently this week. You're going to look at the Middle East in terms of Middle East conflict. So, as we know, World War II ended, and with the Balfour Declaration, Israel was formed, and it was dropped right there in the middle of Palestine in the Middle East. So you have Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. So that creates a lot of conflict. You're going to be reading in the textbook about that conflict, and it's consistent, and there has really never been peace in the Middle East since the creation of Israel. So you're going to look at that, and you're going to read about it. You're going to answer some questions. So you'll have the Lebanese Civil War. You'll have the 1991 Gulf War. You'll have the Iran-Iraq War, the Syrian Civil War. And then you're going to look at the Iraq War. And you're going to be watching a National Geographic documentary film, which is about an hour long. And as you watch that, you're going to come up. You can use Cornell notes. You can use any form of notes that we've used this year. If you just want to go with straight sentences, I'll accept that. But we're looking for not little tidbits. We're looking for big ideas in our notes. We're looking for concepts, things that kind of jump out at you on that higher level thinking. We're looking for those kinds of note taking skills, which I've advocated for all year. But I want you to kind of think about this. Do you think, as we studied colonialism and this idea where more powerful European nations, as well as the United States, with the world history, they tend to exploit Africa, subcontinent of India, South America. And do you agree or disagree, as you're taking those notes, that in 2001, we had the attack on the United States in 9/11, and so President Bush pivoted, and he was looking for kind of someone to blame or to go after, and Saddam Hussein was really a terrible dictatorial leader. He said, "Hey, I had nothing to do with this. You got the wrong guy." And so the United States came up with kind of a thin reason, a real thin fabric reason to invade Iraq, and it was this thing called WMDs, which is weapons of mass destruction. And so we were gonna. The position was a coalition, the United States and a few countries from the United Nations decided that we needed to kind of police Iraq and get rid of Saddam Hussein. Now, Saddam Hussein is a terrible person, but the bigger question, the historical question, is: do you believe that a nation, even a free nation, a republic with democratic values, do we have the right to invade other nations? Some people may argue, yes, we need to do that to keep the world safe. Others of you may argue, well, if they're a sovereign nation with borders and they haven't done anything specifically to the United States, maybe we shouldn't do that. So as you watch that Iraq War by Nat Geo, I want you to think about that question and kind of answer it thoughtfully. Okay, great job, guys. This will be wrapped up pretty soon. The year will be wrapped up, and then the fall will be here before we know it. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and staying healthy. Okay, bye-bye.